think she's an evil woman. I'm glad she's retiring. I think she did the country a great service by retiring. I think she was a tremendous liability for the country.
And on Dick Cheney?
I thought she was an evil woman who did a poor job, who cost the country a lot in damages and in reputation. I thought she was terrible.
The old guard has been repudiated, and the radicals are taking over the Democratic Party. We have evidence now every day. Former Speaker Nancy Pelosi has now announced her retirement this morning. That is a very important sign that I hope that you all will delve into. Even the famous San Francisco liberal is not far left enough for the neo-Marxists.
I mean, Caddy, First Speaker Johnson, who just seems to be living in a different reality with what happened Tuesday with these elections. Sure, Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani won in New York City, but very moderate Democrats won in New Jersey and Virginia. The party also did very well in swing states like Pennsylvania, as well as deep red states.
Okay, so picture this. You're Donald Trump. You're in court. Your lawyer is there. The person who's supposed to defend you. The person who knows all your secrets, all your schemes, all the crimes you've committed. And that lawyer stands up in court and does the unthinkable. They confess. They admit to participating in activities bordering on treason. And then they hand over everything. Recordings from your inner circle, documents with your signature, transcripts of secret meetings, audio tapes of you discussing criminal schemes, all of it previously protected by attorney-client privilege, all of it now in the hands of prosecutors and Congress. And you're sitting there watching your own lawyer destroy you, watching them provide evidence that directly implicates you in impeachable offenses, watching your entire defense collapse in real time, and there's nothing you can do to stop it, because the evidence is out there now, the recordings exist, the documents are real, and Congress is already moving, already talking about new articles of impeachment, already preparing to use this evidence to remove you from office, and your remaining allies are panicking, because they know if this lawyer flipped, if they provided this much evidence, others might flip too. And this whole house of cards you've built, this entire criminal enterprise, it's all coming down. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest, you can't really trust headlines anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, join our free newsletter. We'll send the news straight to your inbox every day. Just click the link in the description to join. And if you just want to support what we're doing, join us, be part of the community that actually cares about the truth. All right, let's get back to the video.
Like Mississippi. So that's that. And then as far as President Trump goes, we know his personal animosity towards Pelosi. Pelosi was really the sort of top Democrat who stood up to him, who defied him in his first term. And it's yet another moment when, given the choice between taking the high road or the low road, President Donald Trump always goes low.
Yeah, it reminds me of a conversation I had recently with a senior Republican senator who said, you know, we do have a president who is not prone to moments of grace. And I think that is exactly what we saw yesterday. This is not American politics as it used to be. It's a reminder that we live in a new rhetorical era.
This is wild. This is absolutely devastating for Trump, because when your own lawyer turns on you, when they provide prosecutors with recordings and documents proving your crimes, that's game over. That's the end. Attorney-client privilege is supposed to protect conversations between lawyers and clients. It's supposed to ensure that people can be honest with their lawyers without fear that those conversations will be used against them. But there are exceptions. If a lawyer participates in crimes with their client, if the lawyer is helping the client commit fraud or obstruction, then attorney-client privilege doesn't apply. And that's what happened here. Trump's lawyer participated in criminal schemes, and now that lawyer has decided to save themselves by cooperating with prosecutors, by handing over everything, by exposing Trump completely. So let's talk about it. Let's break down what evidence the lawyer provided, what crimes Trump is now proven to have committed, why this forces Congress to pursue impeachment, and what this means for Trump's presidency. Because trust me, this is the beginning of the end. This is Trump getting caught red-handed by his own lawyer, and there's no way out. Now, the bombshell happened on October 30th, 2025. Trump's lawyer appeared in court, and instead of defending Trump, instead of protecting him, the lawyer confessed, admitted to participating in activities bordering on treason. Think about that language for a second, bordering on treason. That's not hyperbole. That's not exaggeration. That's a lawyer, in court, under oath, admitting that they and their client engaged in conduct that approaches the most serious crime in American law. And then the lawyer handed over evidence, recordings from Trump's inner circle, secret meetings where Trump and his advisors discussed criminal schemes, conversations about obstructing investigations, discussions about hush money payments, planning sessions for how to cover up crimes and avoid accountability. All of it recorded, all of it documented, all of it now evidence. And this isn't secondhand information. This isn't someone claiming they heard something. This is Trump's own voice, Trump's own words, Trump giving orders, Trump giving orders, Trump approving illegal actions, Trump knowingly participating in criminal conspiracies, all captured on tape, all provided by his own lawyer. And congressional committees responded immediately. According to statements filed in federal court, if this testimony produces new evidence supporting the conclusion that Trump committed impeachable offenses, the committee will proceed accordingly, including, if necessary, by considering whether to recommend new articles of impeachment. That's Congress saying, if this evidence is as bad as it sounds, we're impeaching Trump. Again, we're bringing new articles. We're using this evidence to remove him from office. And based on what the lawyer provided, the evidence is that bad. Legal experts and government watchdogs who've reviewed the evidence are calling it overwhelming and objective. They're saying there's no political defense available. The evidence is too clear. Trump's own words, Trump's own voice, Trump's own actions, all documented, all proving criminal conduct, all forcing Congress to act. And the magnitude of evidence is stunning. Audio tapes, recordings of conversations that Trump thought were private, transcripts, written records of what was said in secret meetings, signed documents, papers with Trump's signature approving payments, authorizing actions, directing cover-ups, all of it creating a comprehensive picture of Trump's criminal enterprise, all of it making impeachment not just possible, but inevitable. Reports are calling the lawyers' flip a treasure trove moment for prosecutors. Everything they needed to build an airtight case just landed in their laps. Evidence proving conversations and strategies to obstruct investigations. Evidence of hush money payments to cover up scandals. Evidence matching elements already under criminal inquiry, corroborating what prosecutors suspected but couldn't prove. And now they can prove it, because Trump's own lawyer gave them everything. So yeah, this is the story. Trump humiliated as his own lawyer exposes evidence that forces impeachment. Recordings, documents, and insider details proving Trump's crimes. Congress immediately responding with threats of new impeachment articles, and Trump completely exposed with no defense available. Let's break it down. Alright, so let's dig into what evidence Trump's lawyer actually provided and why it's so damaging. Because this isn't just politically embarrassing, this is evidence of crimes. Evidence that could result in impeachment, criminal prosecution, and prison time. Let's start with the recordings. According to reports, Trump's lawyer handed over audio tapes from Trump's inner circle, recordings of secret meetings, conversations between Trump and his closest advisors. And these recordings capture Trump discussing criminal schemes. What kind of schemes? Obstruction of justice. Recordings of Trump discussing how to interfere with investigations, how to hide evidence, how to pressure witnesses, how to use his presidential power to shut down inquiries into his conduct. That's obstruction. That's a federal crime. And Trump's own voice is on tape admitting to it. Hush money payments. Recordings of Trump approving payments to silence people who have damaging information about him. Payments to cover up scandals. Payments that violate campaign finance laws. Payments that constitute fraud. All of it captured on tape. All of it proving Trump's knowledge and intent. Conspiracy. Recordings of Trump and his advisors planning illegal activities, coordinating cover-ups, agreeing to break laws. All the elements of criminal conspiracy captured on audio. And these aren't vague or ambiguous conversations. According to legal experts who reviewed the evidence, Trump is explicit. He's clear about what he wants done. He's giving direct orders to engage in illegal conduct. There's no plausible deniability. No way to claim Trump didn't know what he was doing. His own words prove his guilt. Now let's talk about the documents. Because in addition to recordings, Trump's lawyer provided signed documents, papers with Trump's signature. What kind of documents? Authorization for payments. Documents showing Trump personally approved hush money payments. Documents proving that Trump knew about these payments, authorized them, and directed that they be kept secret. That destroys Trump's defense that he didn't know about the payments, or that his subordinates acted without his knowledge. Agreements to obstruct justice. Documents showing Trump agreed to plans to interfere with investigations. Written proof of criminal conspiracy. Communication records. Emails, text messages, memos documenting Trump's criminal schemes. All of it showing Trump's direct involvement. All of it proving Trump wasn't just aware of crimes being committed, he was directing them. And Trump's signature appears on multiple documents. That's incredibly damaging, because Trump can't claim these documents are fake or fabricated. They have his signature, they're authenticated, they're real, and they prove his guilt. Now let's talk about the transcripts. Because Trump's lawyer also provided written records of secret meetings, detailed accounts of what was said, who was present, what decisions were made, and these transcripts show Trump planning criminal activities. Trump giving orders to subordinates to break laws, Trump approving schemes to obstruct investigations and cover up scandals, all of it documented in writing, all of it creating a comprehensive record of Trump's criminal enterprise. Now, why did Trump's lawyer do this? Why did they turn on Trump and hand over all this evidence? Because the lawyer realized they were going down. They participated in criminal activities with Trump. They helped Trump obstruct justice. They facilitated hush money payments. They were part of the conspiracy. And when prosecutors started closing in, when the lawyer realized they were facing serious prison time, they made a choice: protect Trump and go to prison, or cooperate with prosecutors and save themselves. And they chose self-preservation. They decided to flip, to provide evidence against Trump in exchange for immunity or a reduced sentence. And that's devastating for Trump, because this lawyer knows everything. They were in the room for secret meetings. They participated in planning criminal activities. They have direct knowledge of Trump's crimes. And now they're sharing all of that with prosecutors. Now let's talk about attorney-client privilege, because you might be wondering, isn't this protected? Can lawyers really turn over their clients' confidential communications? Generally, no. Attorney-client privilege protects communications between lawyers and clients. But there's an important exception called the crime-fraud exception. If a client uses their lawyer's services to commit crimes or fraud, then attorney-client privilege doesn't apply. The lawyer can be compelled to testify, can be required to turn over evidence, and that's what happened here. Trump used his lawyer to help commit crimes, to facilitate obstruction and fraud, so the privilege doesn't protect those communications, and the lawyer can provide evidence without violating any ethical rules. In fact, the lawyer might be required to provide evidence because lawyers have obligations to the legal system. They can't knowingly participate in crimes, and if they do, they can face criminal charges themselves. So when Trump's lawyer realized they were implicated in criminal activities, they had a choice: keep quiet and face prosecution, or cooperate and potentially avoid charges. They chose cooperation. Now let's talk about Congress's response. Because congressional committees have been waiting for evidence like this. They've been investigating Trump for years. They've suspected criminal conduct, but they haven't had definitive proof. Now they do. Trump's own lawyer has provided recordings, documents, and testimony proving Trump's crimes, and Congress has made clear they're going to act. According to statements filed in federal court back in December 2019 and reaffirmed since, congressional committees have said that if testimony produces new evidence supporting the conclusion that Trump committed impeachable offenses, they will proceed accordingly, including, if necessary, by considering new articles of impeachment. And this evidence absolutely supports that conclusion. This is proof of high crimes and misdemeanors, obstruction of justice, abuse of power, conspiracy to commit fraud, all impeachable offenses, all proven by Trump's own lawyer's evidence. So Congress is moving forward. Democratic committee chairs are already talking about drafting new articles of impeachment. They're reviewing the evidence. They're preparing to hold hearings. They're building the case for removing Trump from office. And here's what makes this different from previous impeachment efforts. This time, the evidence is overwhelming. In past impeachments, Republicans could argue that evidence was circumstantial or politically motivated. They could claim it was a partisan witch hunt. But this time, the evidence is objective. It's Trump's own voice on tape. It's Trump's own signature on documents. It's Trump's own lawyer providing testimony under oath. That's much harder to dismiss as partisan politics. That's just facts. That's proof. And even some Republicans are going to have trouble defending Trump against this evidence. Now Trump's remaining allies are panicking because they know that if one lawyer flipped, others might flip too. If Trump's lawyer had all this evidence, other members of Trump's team probably have damaging information as well, and they might decide to cooperate with prosecutors to save themselves. So Trump's entire operation is at risk of collapsing. People who participated in Trump's crimes are looking at the evidence Trump's lawyer provided and thinking, I could be next. Prosecutors might come for me. Maybe I should cooperate before it's too late. And that creates a cascade effect. One person flips, which scares others into flipping, which provides even more evidence, which leads to more people flipping. And Trump's entire criminal enterprise unravels. Let's also talk about the legal exposure Trump now faces, because this evidence doesn't just support impeachment, it supports criminal prosecution. Obstruction of justice is a federal crime, carrying up to 20 years in prison. Conspiracy to commit fraud is a federal crime, carrying up to 5 years. Violating campaign finance laws is a federal crime, carrying fines and potential prison time. So Trump is looking at multiple felony charges, and the evidence to convict him on those charges now exists. Trump's own lawyer has provided it. So even if Trump somehow avoids impeachment, even if Republicans in the Senate refuse to convict him, Trump still faces criminal prosecution when he leaves office. The evidence exists. It's been provided to prosecutors, and charges are coming. Now Trump is going to fight this. He's going to attack his former lawyer. He's going to claim the evidence is fake or taken out of context. He's going to argue that this is all a political hit job, but none of that changes the facts. Trump's voice is on tape. Trump's signature is on documents. Trump's lawyer is providing testimony under oath. That's real evidence, and it proves Trump committed crimes. So yeah, this is where we are. Trump's own lawyer has exposed him, provided overwhelming evidence of crimes. forced Congress to pursue impeachment, and left Trump with no good defenses. Let's talk about what happens next. Okay, so let's break down what Trump's lawyers' betrayal means for Trump's presidency, for impeachment, and for Trump's legal future. Because this is a turning point. This is the moment when Trump's house of cards started to collapse. First, let's talk about impeachment. Congress now has objective evidence that Trump committed impeachable offenses, obstruction of justice, abuse of power, conspiracy to commit fraud, all proven by recordings, documents, and testimony from Trump's own lawyer. And Congress has said they'll proceed with new articles of impeachment if evidence supports it. The evidence absolutely supports it. So impeachment is coming. House committees are already drafting articles. They're preparing to hold hearings. They're going to present the evidence publicly, and then they'll vote to impeach Trump again. Now, whether Trump actually gets removed from office depends on the Senate. And historically, the Senate hasn't been willing to convict Trump. Republicans have protected him, but this time might be different because the evidence is so overwhelming. Trump's voice on tape admitting to crimes, Trump's signature on documents authorizing illegal actions, Trump's lawyer testifying under oath about Trump's criminal conduct. That's hard to ignore. That's hard to defend. Some Republican senators might decide that protecting Trump isn't worth it, that the evidence is too clear, that their own political survival depends on distancing themselves from Trump. If even a handful of Republicans vote to convict, Trump could be removed from office. That's still a long shot, but it's more possible now than it's ever been because the evidence is undeniable. Second, let's talk about criminal prosecution. Even if Trump avoids removal through impeachment, he still faces criminal charges because the evidence his lawyer provided doesn't just support impeachment, it supports federal criminal charges, obstruction of justice, conspiracy, fraud, all serious felonies, and prosecutors now have everything they need to charge Trump. Trump's lawyer has given them a treasure trove of evidence, audio recordings, documents, testimony, all of it proving Trump's crimes. So when Trump leaves office, whether through impeachment, resignation, or serving out his term, criminal prosecution is waiting. Arrest warrants will be issued, Trump will be charged, he'll face trial, and based on the evidence, conviction is likely. Trump's own words, captured on tape, will be played for a jury. Trump's signature on documents authorizing crimes will be shown as evidence. Trump's lawyer will testify about Trump's criminal conduct. That's an overwhelming case. That's the kind of evidence that results in conviction and long prison sentences. Third, let's talk about Trump's remaining time in office. Because even if impeachment and removal don't happen immediately, Trump is now a lame duck. His own party is distancing themselves. His allies are panicking and considering whether to flip. His legal troubles are mounting. He can't effectively govern when he's fighting impeachment and facing criminal prosecution. He can't pass legislation when Congress is investigating him. He can't implement policies when his attention is consumed by legal survival. So Trump's presidency is effectively over. He might technically remain in office, but he's not going to accomplish anything. He's just going to be fighting for survival until his term ends or until he's removed. Fourth, let's talk about what this means for Trump's lawyers and advisors, because Trump's lawyer flipping is a signal to everyone else in Trump's orbit. It says, save yourself, cooperate with prosecutors before it's too late. And that's going to create panic. People who participated in Trump's schemes are looking at the evidence that's been provided and realizing they could face prosecution. They're calculating whether loyalty to Trump is worth prison time. And many of them are going to decide it's not. They're going to flip. They're going to cooperate. They're going to provide even more evidence against Trump. And that's going to create a cascade. One lawyer flips, which scares others into flipping, which provides more evidence, which leads to more flips, and Trump's entire operation collapses. Everyone who helped him commit crimes is now looking to save themselves, and Trump is left completely isolated. Fifth, let's talk about the political fallout. Because this humiliation is devastating for Trump politically. His own lawyer betrayed him, exposed his crimes, provided evidence that's forcing impeachment. That makes Trump look weak. It makes him look like he can't maintain loyalty, like he can't protect even his closest associates, and that erodes his political power. Republicans who've been supporting Trump are going to start reconsidering. They're going to look at the evidence. They're going to see Trump's crimes proven on tape, and they're going to decide that defending Trump is political suicide, that they need to distance themselves to survive. So Trump's base of support in Congress is going to shrink. More Republicans are going to break with him. More are going to call for accountability, and Trump's ability to govern will diminish even further. 6. Let's talk about what justice looks like here, because if Trump is impeached and removed, if he's prosecuted and convicted, that's justice working. That's accountability for someone who committed serious crimes. Trump obstructed justice. He abused his power. He conspired to commit fraud, and his own lawyer has provided evidence proving all of it. So Trump should face consequences. He should be impeached. He should be removed from office if the evidence supports it, and he should be prosecuted criminally. That's not political persecution. That's the legal system holding powerful people accountable. That's the rule of law applying to everyone, even presidents. And Americans should demand that. Regardless of party, everyone should agree that presidents who commit crimes should face consequences, that nobody is above the law. So what's the bottom line? Trump has been humiliated. His own lawyer, Flip, provided recordings, documents, and testimony proving Trump's crimes, forced Congress to pursue impeachment, and left Trump with no viable defense. The evidence is overwhelming. Trump's voice on tape, Trump's signature on documents, Trump's lawyer testifying under oath, all of it proving Trump committed impeachable offenses and federal crimes. Congress is moving forward with new articles of impeachment. Prosecutors are building criminal cases. Trump's allies are panicking and considering whether to flip, and Trump's presidency is effectively over. He's fighting for survival now, not trying to govern, not trying to pass legislation, just trying to avoid impeachment in prison. And based on the evidence, he's probably going to fail because the case against him is too strong. His own lawyer made sure of that. Stay tuned, because impeachment proceedings are coming, criminal charges are coming, and Trump's downfall is accelerating. The evidence is out there. The proof exists, and justice is finally catching up to Donald Trump.